8 out of 12 rounds were given to Haney.
Right.
Those 10-8 rounds is what ended up giving Garcia the edge. Which we can say the drugs had an influence on it. And the weight. They say that, Floyd says, hey, come in a little bit overweight. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what I mean? He opted to do bad business, right? We were professional. We showed complete professionalism throughout the fight, throughout the build-up. Devin made weight. I was extremely proud of him. At the end of the fight, he didn't complain. He said, all praise is due to God. Allah doesn't make any mistakes. And I was proud of him. You know what I'm saying? He stood on business. You know what I mean? But it was heartbreaking, the fact that the guy that he fought was on drugs, because it's my job as a manager to him is to put him in situations that are fair. Boxing is the one sport that I consider to be a fair mano to mano, because no matter what your size is, you still have to come in at 135. You have to come in at 140. So for all intent purposes, you are the same size guy. But the one thing that I let him down on is the fact that, I let him get in there with somebody that was on PEDs.
Now, do you feel like, because I heard you mention this, do you feel like you prepped him for the wrong fight? Like, because he said he wanted to stand toe-to-toe with him in the middle of the ring, and we all know that Devin is the type of fighter that's going to pick you apart. He's great with defense, going to pick you apart. A lot of anger, a lot of...
Well, it's a combination of Devin not being Devin, but Devin opting to be what the fans wanted to see. Because up until then, they said that he didn't have heart, he wouldn't stand in the middle of the ring, you know what I mean? But he stood in the middle of the ring with someone that we didn't factor in Osterine. We didn't factor in the fact that, you know what I mean, he was going to be that much stronger.
Right.
You know what I mean? And one thing about Osterine, for anyone that want to Google it or whatever, it helps in recovery, it helps in strength, power, all those things. So, you know what I mean? It was a great injustice that was did to a guy, a wonderful guy that did nothing but good business.
Plus, just the whole buildup for this fight was like something I'd never seen before. And I don't necessarily mean that in a good way. It was like almost tough to watch. Like watching this dude do all the stuff that he was doing leading up to the fight was like, what's going to happen in there? I imagine that would have also called Devin to act a little different in the ring too. I don't know if he was emotionally responsive in that way.
Well, it's an emotional sport that you don't want to, you're not good using your emotions, right? You have to use your better judgment. You have to stay on your skills. You have to stay on your game.
Training, yeah.
But when you have the fans that pay for this, they're the ones that buy the pay-per-views. They're the ones that pay for it. You know what I mean? You want to please them. Devin wants to please his fans, and to go out and fight that way, right? I still can say that it wasn't a winning game plan, but I'm still back my guy 1,000% because he went into battle. He went in there as a warrior. He came out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I couldn't be no more proud of him.
Now, there are the people that say, "Oh, well, there wasn't that much Osterine in the system." Now, obviously, I know that how that works because you got to flush it out your system. But could you explain to the people, like,
well, if I put just a little bit of this tallywhacker in your woman, I mean, how would you feel about that? Just a little bit. Let me just put a little bit in her. You dig? Yeah. Does that matter?
Oh my God.
But it was it still was. When it came to the judges' scorecards, I didn't know what was going to happen because I did see dominance throughout all these other rounds.
Yes.
Aside from him getting knocked down, and again, he fought. He fought his ass off to stay up, and he didn't back down for 1 second. And that's something that you said that truly made you proud.
And that's the thing about Mexican fighters, right? Anytime that a Mexican fighter goes down 3 times and gets up, he's a warrior, right? A brother go down 3 times and he's a bum. Because the one thing about blacks, we hate each other right now, and we got to change that, And
why do you feel that is?
Huh? Because niggas feminine right now. wearing purses, you know what I mean? Dressing like the girls, you know what I mean? The girls got on more jewelry than the niggas, you know what I mean? It's just a real sad time right now when we have always been, you know, chest up, chin out, you know what I'm saying? Or excuse me, chest out, chin up, been dominant men, you know what I mean? And for now to take this back seat, you know what I'm saying?
What's the deal with you and Bernard Hopkins? What's going on with that?
Who is Bernard Hopkins?
the other BH. You know.
Well, I used to like him as a fighter. I'm not gonna lie. I studied his fights. I really like him as a fighter. But as the company man that he is over there at Golden Boy, you know what I mean? I think our thing started when I approached Bernard about talking to Oscar or talking to Golden Boy. You know what I mean? And he kind of threw his nose up at me like, you know, what am I talking to him for? Well, you're the only black guy over there.
So that's what I was going to say. Is it because y'all both kind of street dudes, quote unquote, and y'all just kind of meeting in the middle there? Is that where the beef kind of resides? Or?
Well, Bernard was a cat burglar. I was a D boy. So let's be clear on that. I was a D boy. He was a cat burglar. You did? So heard you. So but nevertheless, us being in the boxing business and not having an allegiance to one another, the way that the other cultures do, right? Us, me or no one else that looks like me has an open door over there through him to that company. And you know what I mean? I kind of had a problem with that. So I kind of talked. Well, I didn't talk about it. I think he initially said what Devin wasn't. And then I said, well, he was like, these fighters these days. I said, well, wait a minute. I said, when you were 23, you were in the penitentiary. Devin is 23, and he's a boss and undisputed champion of the world with a lot of fly shit. But you say that they're not what you are. And I believe that no matter what, the discipline that Devin has had in the sport, what he has done for the sport, that it should have been celebrated on a high level from somebody like Bernard Hopkins that understands what it takes to stay focused.
So you run into him at the supermarket. What does that look like?
Definitely ain't going to the bathroom with that.
It's the executioner. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was, I saw the...
I didn't know, listen, I'm going to tell you though, I didn't know what, I said, all right, because he said, let's go to the bathroom. So I'm like, go to the bathroom, nigga, you can get out where you mad at, right? That's the Oakland thing. And then he said, yeah, I thought so. I said, all right, nigga, well, come on. So I walked with him, and then he turned back, and then we bumped into each other, and he says, oh, no, let's go over here to this one. And he took so long, right? I said, I'm
trying to build up courage.
No, right. I don't know what he was, because I was calculated. I said, okay, so as soon as we get into the bathroom, I'm going to have to hit him in the back of his head. I'm going to have to hit him in the back of his head, because Lord knows what Bernard going to try to do to a nigga if he knock him out there. So I don't mind fighting. I just don't want to, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, I didn't know what Bernard was on, to tell you the truth. You know what I mean? But I don't mind. I don't mind fighting, win or lose. That's just part of the game. Yeah. Especially about my son. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm on some martyr shit when it comes to him.
Absolutely, as you should. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people, you know, there's also been criticisms of, you know, you should pass him off to another trainer. Obviously, I mean, we see that there with 30-0 there. Now he's 31-0.
Right.
Do you feel like there's like it's tainted, the record? Do you feel like, more importantly, do you feel like he still has a problem with that internally?
No, he understands that this is a business. And I think that when you talk about some of the guys, whether it be Teofimo, who's been public and vocal about his mental health issues, whether it be Ryan Garcia, who's vocal about that. I think I think Tank has also mentioned that. And, you know, you can't help but show empathy or be sympathetic to the guys that are suffering those problems. But for those guys that aren't, right, then we can carry it, right? You know, we're in this business and people want to express themselves. You know what I mean? Whether they want to applaud you or they want to boo you, that's what they pay for that. You know what I'm saying? And those that stand tall through it all, you know what I mean? We deserve it all. Hey. You know what I mean? All you have to do is just, you know what I mean? Just drop your chin, you know what I mean? And everybody will go easy on you. You know what I mean? But, you know, I stay getting at them, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, you know what I mean? Or whatever, you know, because I'm a confident Black man that has a confident son, you know what I mean? And it is what it is.
And